Okay, YouTubers, since I've gotten a number of generous requests for me doing a second part to the historicity concerning this cemetery, I've decided to take your generous offer up a par. So the first grave I'm going to start with is this lady right here, the infamous Cora Blackledge. Now, I don't know if you can you actually see that? Doesn't look like you can, but her name was Cora Blackledge. She was born in 1866 and she died in 1953. The reason why her story is significant is because she was a probation officer slash supervisor of an orphanage here in Beaver County. And legend has it that she was a very mean, disturbing person that abused kids terribly. Is that true? I don't know. Some people might dispute that claim. Some people might say that she was a very nice woman. I honestly don't know. I have heard mixed things about her over the years. I planned on doing a story about her that I was going to post on my website about a year ago, but I decided, no, I'm not going to do it because I couldn't verify any of the information that I had ascertained about her. So I do know that she was a probation officer. I do know that she did run an orphanage here in Beaver County. That is all I know. It appears that she was never married. She's buried to somebody. She's buried next to somebody here. I don't know who this is. A Harriet Stewart, 1864 to 1941. I don't know anything about her. But that's all I know about Miss Blackledge. That, you know, there's conflicting reports about her. I don't know if her story is legitimate or not. The next grave I want to show you is quite significant because, well, I'll just step over here and I'll show you. This gentleman here, Lieutenant Louis Mosliner, was killed in action at Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. I don't know if you can see that. Sure you can. Yeah, you can see it. See it. He is the first World War II casualty here in Beaver County, Pennsylvania. So he's quite significant. He is the first casualty of World War II in Beaver County. There have been numerous stories done by him in our local newspaper over the years. I don't know much about him. I don't know if there's any surviving World War II veterans who may have known this gentleman. If you know anything about him, put it in a comment below and let me know. I'd love to hear what your thoughts about it, or what you do know and what you don't know. Let's go down. Keep going. Because this is a big cemetery and we're in the back section here now, which is quite huge, because what you're seeing in front of you there, this road goes, if you walk around this whole entire cemetery, I think I said it in the first video, but if you proceed to walk around it, it's in its entirety, it's 1 mile around, so it's pretty big. A lot of people buried here. And there's one particular grave here that I want to show you because it's quite significant too. And sadly, there's not too many people that talk about it anymore or even put flowers on this man's grave. Now, there's probably some reasons why that is the case. I won't get into that at the precise moment, but maybe I'll talk about it when we get down there. But as you can see, there are a lot of families buried here, entombed in their own little mausoleums, if you will. A lot of wealthy people are buried in this cemetery, a lot of wealthy families from Beaver County, which I elaborated further in the first video. And genealogy is not my thing. I don't know a lot about these families. I know a few things, but nothing worth mentioning here in this video, to be honest with you. There's families of doctors here, there's families of lawyers. But, you know, for a person watching my video in California, it's not going to be of significant interest, so I'm just not going to get into it. But this is a very ornate structure here, as you can see. It's almost like that cemetery in Paris. I said that in the other video. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but just look. They just don't make structures like this anymore. We're just going to journey down here, and I'm going to show you this gentleman's grave. I don't want to walk past it. I have a tendency to do that, but I think we're on the right track here. It's further down this way. Now, it's really odd because the first video I ever done on YouTube was the cemetery. And I don't know, it's just... Cemeteries are historic. Cemeteries have a lot of history. The older the cemetery, the more significant it is. Specifically, if they're large, like this one, and for local history buffs, you know, it contains a lot of information. A lot of famous people are buried here and whatnot. And, oh, wait, you know what? Here, let me show you one thing. Speaking of history, since I'm right here, I'm going to show it to you. This is the older part. Look and see. You can see some of these graves, how old they are. Just look how old they are. It's a good day to be out here, be filming, because it's not windy. Mr. Joseph Bosman, Reverend Bosman, and his wife. Mr. Bosman's significant because he wrote the history of Beaver County, which everybody still draws upon. Quite a brilliant historian, highly educated man for his time, and he wrote the history of Beaver County. You can Google it. 1904, I think it come out, Knickerbocker Press, or maybe it was 1914. One of those years. Everybody still uses them as a reference. It's beautifully written. Quite rare to obtain a copy of it, an original first edition. If you do, it's going to run you about $100. I've been trying to get one for a while. I think it was 1904, yeah. Okay, moving right along here. I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time because I've got to backtrack and I got to go down this hill because there's another grave I want to show you before I end this video. And there's just so much here, you know. As you can see, there's so much here. There's so many graves, so many stories, and sadly, you always have these sections of, you know, children being buried here. It's sad. A lot of children are buried in the cemetery. Look at this. Sad. I want to get to this grave because I don't want to miss it. Just trying to find it. I think it's right up here. Now. Did I find it? I think I did. Okay. I have. It's right here. Now, this may not be so significant to a lot of people, but this is the grave of Willie Wetzel. The Wetzel family was famous here in Beaver County for founding the martial arts studio, which I think the Wetzels were the first to establish a martial arts academy / dojo in the Pittsburgh area. Now, his son Roy, who's also dead, but he's not buried in this cemetery, him and Roy, Willie here and Roy, got into a violent confrontation and it ended with Willie's death. Roy killed him. Roy was charged with murder and he was acquitted right here in Beaver County at the courthouse, which is right down there. He got off on self-defense. They had a very strange relationship. Roy died. He was a total badass. I mean, no disrespect here at all to the Wetzel family, because there are some survivors here who still reside in Beaver County. And I don't know much about it. The fight took place in 1975. It was a long time ago. If anybody here took martial arts under Willie or Roy, I'd love to hear your comments. Post some comments down below if you know what I'm talking about and if you know the significance of this family, because they were truly, truly legends. Now, I don't know how true this is, but it was said that according to legend, and it is legend, but that Roy sparred with Bruce Lee. I don't know how true that is, but Roy was, this family is very well known in the martial arts world. So if you have any comments or any memories of these people, I'd love to hear it. No disrespect. Willie was definitely a legend for, you know, in the martial arts. And he's, you know, he was then and he still is now. But that's his grave. Let's go down here. There's one more grave I want to show you before I close out this video, because like I said, I don't want to take up a lot of you guys' time. And there's so much to see here. And depending on what kind of feedback I get, if you want me to make one more video about this cemetery, you know, I'll do it. But let me know what you think. This one here that I'm going to show you is a basketball legend. Some of you may remember him, some of you may not. Does anyone remember Norman Van Leer? This is his grave. Norman Van Leer played for the Chicago Bulls. He graduated from Midland High School. You can read it for yourself. He was a sports commentator. I don't know if he's in a Hall of Fame, but he's one of the few people that played professional basketball. Pete Maravich, of course, being the other one, Pistol Pete. He went to Aliquippa for a while. But this is the final resting place of Norman Van Leer. If anybody remembers him, drop a comment down below this video. I'd love to hear what you have to say. But he graduated from Midland, which is way down there. As you can see, guys, this is a huge cemetery. It's enormous and it's full of many stories. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what you have to say about these two graves that I've shown you and a couple of the other graves. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, tell your friends about it, and I really appreciate you guys tuning into my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Out.